Welcome back to Camp Out West. If you're new here, we sold everything we own to buy this abandoned caravan park, and we've been working hard alongside our full-time jobs to bring the land back to life, and finally give our land the care and attention it deserves. Removing decades of rubbish and following our dream to self-build our own home and open our own campsite. We hope you enjoy watching our journey unfold.
Welcome back. It's an exciting week. If you watched the last episode, you would have seen that our cladding finally turned up for the cabin. So we're going to be putting on the cladding onto the roof this week. But the first job is we're going to be putting the fascia boards on. So that's what we're going to start with. First, we move the scaffolding into place, and then it's time to lift and fit our first fascia board. Good, keep going. Feel like you're winning. We cut the next fascia down to size and fitted it into place. We finished the fascia boards on this side of the cabin, so before we go and do the same on the front, we're going to not move the scaffolding just yet. We've got one more job to do. So we've bought this stainless steel wire mesh cloth. This is going to be our bug mesh. We're going to be putting this up on the roof battens. So this is going to be closing in the ends of our roof before our metal goes on. So this means that we can't have wasps and bees nesting in the roof. So this is our next job. I stapled the mesh into place, then fitted our first row of counter batten on top, which is what we'll be attaching the metal cladding onto. Yeah, the idea is that this goes up and over. We've put on our first counter batten onto the roof, and I thought I'd show you what we're doing with this mesh that we've put on there. So it's pinned underneath the first batten, so it's solidly in place, and we've stapled it on. And then this is going to get wrapped over the counter batten and stapled on again. And then our roof metal sheeting is going to go over the top of this. And that means that this air gap void that we need for getting fresh air in underneath the cladding is blocked off from any bugs or bees or birds or anything that want to nest inside the roof. Now we finished the back of the cabin, we moved on to the front to do the mesh, the counter batten and the fascia on the other side. We've just finished the fascia boards as well as the first counter batten on the front of the roof, and we've put on our bug mesh. So the next job is putting on the rest of our counter battens, and that's what our metal cladding is going to be screwed to. For some reason it's always windy whenever we get up on the roof. So I'm just getting my safety rope and my harness ready. We're going to do our last row of the counter battens because it's up right at the middle of the roof. I've got to get on the roof, which I absolutely hate. So I think in honesty, the reason why we haven't put the roof cladding on is because I hate going on the roof. So thank God for this. So I'm going to strap this on the tree now. That on. Cool. Now all the counter batten was on, it was time to attach our first piece of metal roofing. The roofing was a bit of an awkward size to lift up between the scaffolding, but we were just glad that we could get it up on the roof with just the two of us. This was such an amazing feeling seeing the first bits of cladding going on. We're so used to looking out and seeing the red and blue membrane, it's been hard for us to envision what the cabin's going to look like in all black. So it's amazing to see the difference that the black cladding makes.
Maggie had the perfect viewing spot to watch John at work.
So I'm up on the roof, so I thought I'd show you what I've been doing up here. It's going quite well. We've got 3 of the sheets left for this side of the roof. The one detail we haven't shown you is these foam eaves fillers. So on the side of the roof we've got our eaves trays which help carry water off the side, and then we've got our counter batten which we've put our mesh onto to keep the bugs out, and then these eaves fillers pretty much fill the shape of the metal roofing. And this is what keeps all the bugs from going into the roof cavity. So I'm just showing you the detail with those eaves fillers, those foam strips. So once this is fastened down, you can see that that completely blocks the spaces between the metal sheeting. So hopefully no bugs, bees or wasps living in the roof cavity. So the yellow string is the string that we put across from one side of the roof to the other, and that set our 8 centimetre overhang. So from watching videos online, that was the sort of the preferred method for trying to get like an equal overhang and like a straight edge to the roof. I've used a string line for all of the fastenings into the roof. So each sheet that I've been doing, I've been like pinging a string line with the chalk on it, and that's meant that I've managed to get like somewhat straight with the fastenings, which means that they're hitting the roofing battens underneath and it's making a nice strong roof. Now to put the last few roofing sheets on.
By the last sheet, Maggie was missing John and tried her best to get up to him.
So that's the last sheet on this side of the roof done. Really happy with how it's turned out. I think that little hack that I saw on somebody's video using the string line to help you get it nice and straight really worked, because looking down it, I've managed to get it quite straight. But yeah, really happy with how it's turned out. We're going to make the most of the rest of the afternoon, and we're going to go take Maggie on a dog walk to one of our favourite places, so we'll take you with us. We headed to Cavan Beach. This is our favourite place to walk, Maggie, as it backs onto the most incredible woodland.
Look at that.
Good girl. You tired? Good girl.
So we just got back from our little celebratory walk with Maggie on the beach because we shot our last wedding of the year yesterday. If you didn't know, we work full-time as wedding photographers, and most of our time each week is spent travelling to and from weddings all across the UK and abroad. Our day job has taken us to some amazing places, from Iceland to America, Australia, Mykonos, Portugal, and so many more. And even though we love our job and travelling, we're so excited to have the next few months at home so we can focus on this build. If you're like us and you travel a lot for work, we're so excited to introduce you to today's video sponsor, Airolo, which is a game changer for anyone working or travelling abroad. If you're new to Airolo, it's the world's first eSIM store, trusted by over 10 million travellers worldwide. It allows you to download and install digital data packs from over 200 countries and regions directly to your phone. When we got booked to shoot a wedding in Australia, we spent ages trying to find free Wi-Fi at the airport so we could figure out where to buy a new SIM card from before we headed to the wedding venue, which was over a 2-hour drive away. But that's the beauty of an eSIM, it's all digital. You don't have to buy a physical plastic SIM card and spend ages taking your phone apart so you can switch your SIM cards over. You just download the app for free, choose your destination and package, install your new eSIM, activate it, and it's as simple as that. I always used to leave my phone on airplane mode when we were travelling, out of fear of racking up a big phone bill because I've made that mistake before. But with Airolo, you can keep using your phone as normal. Your number stays the same, which means you can keep in touch with family and friends and get your messages as normal without the worry of any additional roaming charges. Download Airolo today and use our code CampoutWest3 to get $3 off your first eSIM. Thanks again to Airolo for sponsoring today's video.
So I bought this flail mower a couple of weeks ago, and we bought it for quite a good price because it was a non-runner. We knew that it didn't run, so there's always a bit of a risk there. Thanks to everyone who's suggested all the different jobs and little tweaks I can do to get it to run. I have listened, so I've managed to find a place online that sells a couple of the spares for this. So I put a new carb on it because I'm guessing the last one was all gunked up. I've put a new fuel line, fuel filter, air filter, and I've taken the fuel tank off and completely flushed it, put it all back together, and it is running. So it was a bit of a risk, obviously, to have a go doing this. I don't really know that much about this sort of stuff, but happy now that it is running and we've got something that can finally cut the grass. So the sun is out today, so I'm going to make the most of it and give the grass a quick cut. This is the first time I've got the flail mower working without cutting out. Such a good feeling knowing it wasn't a waste of money and time buying this, and it was worth the risk of buying it as a non-runner. Our land is 3 acres in size, so it takes a lot of time to maintain, so having this mower working will free up a lot of time for us to do other things.
While John was cutting the grass, I was in the garden harvesting some potatoes.
This?
potato, darling. First potato. So I've just harvested our first load of potatoes. We got about 60 potatoes in total. Look at the size of this one. We only did the 5 buckets, so I'm really excited for next year when we have our polytunnel and our bigger outdoor growing space, just to see how many we can grow. We had a few rotten ones. We've had so much rain this summer. We left the potatoes the right amount of time after they flowered to actually picking them. And I guess if it hadn't have been so wet, we wouldn't have lost quite a lot. There was a few mushy ones in there, but I'm really happy with our first potato harvest. I then went around the raised beds saving seeds for our next growing season. These sunburst calendulas have been my favourite flower this year, so I left lots of heads on to dry out on the plant so I could save as many seeds as possible. I then went and saved some of our cosmos flower heads. Then it was time to save the seeds from our rocket plant. My dream is one day to have my own library of seeds from things I've grown myself and saved from our garden. I left the seeds in the greenhouse for a week to dry out, and then they were ready to store into seed packets. I want to make lots of DIY hampers for Christmas gifts this year for family and friends, so I thought these seeds would work perfect as nice little gifts.
That's a good bit of progress on the cabin build this week. Really happy with how the metal roofing sheets have gone, being as that's the first time we've ever used that material. So the next task on the cabin will be cladding the rest of it, so all of the walls, and we also somehow need to put a ridge cap on the roof, which I have no idea how I'm going to do that. So if anyone's put a ridge cap on a fairly steep metal roof, how do you now go up onto that slidey metal roof and fasten a ridge cap? If you're a roofer or a builder or you've done it before, please let me know. And if we haven't said before, if you're a builder or a roofer, massive respect to you for going up on roofs every day. No idea how you do it. But looking forward to the next video. That's the end of today's video. So thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Hi.